Let's talk about dry mouth management. Imagine a scenario where an elderly 70-year-old patient comes to your clinic and he complains of difficulty in swallowing or having that burning sensation in the mouth. The patient is undergoing some cancer therapy, and that should give you a clue that salivary glands could be compromised in this situation. So, think about the scenarios that could present themselves when you are asked to manage dry mouth in those patients. So how does this dry mouth present itself? It's mostly seen in elderly people, patients who are undergoing head and neck cancer therapy, patients with autoimmune diseases, or medically compromised patients such as in diabetes mellitus. Risk factors are present, and one of them is use of tobacco or people who have the mouth breathing habit. There are a bunch of signs and symptoms that one can get a clue from that this condition is a dry mouth syndrome or that requires some management related to the complications that arise from dry mouth. One of them is tongue blade test that we can perform when we use a tongue blade and try sticking it to the mucosa, especially on the buccal mucosa. You will find that it tends to stick to the mucosa because of the dehydration, because of that dryness that's present there. There is a lipstick sign in women, especially. One can see that lipstick will tend to stick on the labial surfaces of anteriors. There is hardly any moisture, and lipsticks tend to stick on those areas that is devoid of moisture. These patients tend to have more cervical caries, as this area tends to be affected more when the patients or the people who have dry mouth syndrome where salivary glands have been compromised or not producing enough saliva, and this is because of the lack of buffering uh, that is allowed by the saliva. One might not feel any pain, although slight discomfort is possible because of the irritation or the frictional discomfort that is caused because of the lack of lubrication or moisture in the mouth. One might tend to rub their tongue against the cheek or other oral tissues because one feels that sticky, dry feeling around if there is lack of saliva or enough saliva. Because of that dryness, one might feel that they tend to drink water more. They will keep on sipping on water, and this is a recommended mode of management as well in the people who complain of burning sensation because of dry mouth. A patient could be having problems tasting, chewing, or swallowing just because of the lack of lubrication. The food tends to rub against the tissues of the oral cavity or pharynx, and as a result, it becomes difficult to swallow food. One may complain of bad breath as well. It's also a sign that dry mouth could be possible. Due to the lack of moisture and lubrication, one might complain of sores in the mouth. The lips could be seen as cracked as there is hardly any moisture or lubrication present. Tongue could be seen as dry, red, and raw, which means that one might feel some pain in the tongue or some dryness or soreness or tenderness because of that dehydration within. So, what are you going to ask the patient, or how would you investigate that this is a case of dry mouth? I'm going to assess patient's medical history. I will inquire if the patient has diabetes, if the patient has rheumatoid arthritis, and if there are any psychological issues, if the patient is taking some antidepressants or anti-anxiety drugs that can directly cause insufficient secretion of saliva. If the patient is undergoing some treatment related to HIV, or undergoing radiation treatment related to cancer, or have been diagnosed with renal disease or sarcoidosis, these all tend to cause decreased secretion of saliva. I will be asking the patient some questions that, what do you think? Are you not secreting enough amount of saliva? Do you have difficulty in swallowing food? How does your mouth feels? Does it feels that there is some burning sensation, or do you feel that the food doesn't taste well? Or how about your speaking ability? Are you able to speak normally? Or if the patient is wearing dentures, are the dentures causing any soreness that you were not expecting? Or if you hadn't any soreness before, it's just now that you have started to experience that? I will be performing a complete intraoral and extraoral examination. I will examine the cracks on the oral tissues, look for any redness, which is erythema. I will examine the parotid and submandibular glands to see if they are enlarged. I will look for the facial asymmetry. For example, just because the submandibular or parotid glands are enlarged, the earlobes will seem to be raised in the case of parotid gland, and the chin might appear a little bit off from the midline if the submandibular glands have been affected. I will check for drooling, see that there is some salivary droppings coming out from the ducts, or if there is any pus coming out from the ducts, which will give me an indication that parotid gland or salivary glands could be infected, or require some surgical intervention by a specialist. I'll be examining the teeth for caries, especially cervical caries, and I will be performing a radiographical investigation for additional caries. Now, we have noticed that there is some cervical caries, so chances are that there is lack of buffering because of insufficient secretion of saliva. So, more vulnerable surfaces like interproximally should be evaluated by a thorough radiographical examination. Diagnosis will be based upon the way it presents itself, age group that has been affected more, and thorough clinical examination, clinical sign, and if there is a relevant medical history along with radiographic investigation will point out to the diagnosis of dry mouth. And that will give us an idea or a clue in which way we would like to head. If it is within the range of our capabilities, we can handle it, or we can refer the patient to a oral pathologist who can help the patient in a better way. When it comes to management, I will help the patient managing the symptoms first. I will advise to take frequent sips of water. I will ask the patient to keep chips of ice in mouth, and ask the patient to restrict the use of caffeine and alcohol, which can directly cause some dehydration. I will ask the patient or recommend to coat their lips with jelly. Because of their the dehydration, one might experience some dryness. I will prescribe some drugs like biotin, OSIS for mucositis or xerostomia if required. If there is a medical condition associated with it, or there is a suspicion of it being associated, I will refer the patient to an oral medicine specialist, especially if I am suspecting a Sjogren's syndrome. So to conclude this lecture, we now know how we can identify that this is a case of dry mouth. We now know the signs and symptoms. We know how to investigate this case. And once we have done the thorough examination and understood the signs and symptoms, or have taken the medical and dental history, we know this is a dry mouth syndrome. And now we can manage this condition by either referring the patient to an oral pathologist or specialist, and along with symptomatic management, alongside giving the recommendation or advice. And that's how we can respond to a scenario that is concerning dry mouth syndrome.